Hey, what's up, universe? It is 4:36 p.m. on Sunday, July 16th, 2023. So I have some rice and beans here in my lap. I'm very grateful for this nice, not only the warmth of the pan and the food. A warm meal is an awesome thing. I've definitely been in positions before where I was not able to have a warm meal. And so even if it's just rice and beans, I'm totally grateful for a warm meal. So I just want to put out there, this might be a little bit of a longer video just because I might kind of go off on a tangent for a second, because there's a couple things. So I met a man, Jeremy, at Date with Destiny, a Tony Robbins event back in December of 2018. And we've been keeping in touch over the years. And we met again face-to-face in May when I was at the Zendesk Relate conference. He wasn't at the conference, but he lives in San Francisco, so we were able to meet up and connect. We're on very similar life and spiritual journeys. It's a great relationship. I'm grateful to have him in my life, and he is doing an Inspired Life Challenge this week. He's leading that, and so he's got a group of us that we're doing this challenge in, and there's a WhatsApp group. And so anyway, there's a couple messages, and this woman posted a couple videos, and it just really resonated with me. It started off with my original post on the assignment that we had today, and anyway, just kind of an interesting connection. And I'm just grateful for that. So I just want to put out there that's going on, just because I don't know what will come of these interactions with this group. Is basically, I just want to put it out there that that's happening in my life, that I'm interacting with this group in this context, and and there you go. And then on a completely somewhat related tangent in a way, I listened to Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog and allowed myself to cry while my rice was cooking. And while I was in Costa Rica, we went and visited a man who has a plant sanctuary of all of these medicinal plants, these beautiful, gorgeous teachers. And he's very much a steward of the animal, not the animal, but the plant kingdom and these plant medicines. And just listening to him, I was so deeply, and I can, you can see it and probably hear it, moved by the experience. We did a sweat lodge there, and just his recounting, this man has died almost pretty much twice. He was blown up. He used to be a welder, if I recall correctly. At least once he almost died. I feel like twice, he said. But the one story I do remember is he used to be a welder, and there was some type of big container he was working in, and it had, I don't recall the specifics, but obviously there was some type of combustible gas or fumes that didn't get vented out, and he suffered major burns. Just think Johnny Boy from The Outsiders, and obviously the man is alive, but he suffered burns, pretty severe burns all over his body. And I know what it's like to go through second-degree burns. I burned both of my hands in college, second-degree burns. So while I didn't have it all over my body, I can certainly appreciate what hours of intense pain from a fire, from a burn, feels like. And it's awful. It's awful. And so I was moved by this man, and through some of his stories that he shared. And one of them was of this elder that he went and learned from, and basically how this elder had to live his life. He was pretty solitary. He wasn't married. He didn't have relationships with women. He was on a path. He was on a path of being this keeper of a certain type of intelligence and wisdom, and to pass it along to the people that he was meant to pass it along to. And the guy in Costa Rica was talking about, this elder, and the man in Costa Rica was talking about how he spoke to the elder's son and was like, how come you don't want to continue, your dad's, journey and what he's been doing? And the son was like, you see my dad? I was like, he can't have relationships with women, like, because of, like, he's so focused. You think of, like, Nikola Tesla and, like, these people that are the singular, basically, but they have this path that they're on. And so the son was like, my dad has to live a certain way, like, he's on a certain journey, and he's like, I don't want that, and it just got me thinking about a part of that story that this guy in Costa Rica was talking about, was how, some of these people that do, like, they'll do sweat lodges for, like, days, right? And they'll go without, like, food and water, and to really put themselves in a position to know what it's like to be without. And the reason for that is to truly understand the suffering of those conditions, to, like, really truly know what it's like to be in those types of positions, and to have that so that they can give that to people that are suffering, to that compassion, to have that connection, and to know what to do, so to speak, to ease these types of suffering in the world, for the people that they touch, and how they can impact their communities and the lives that they interact with. And it just reminded me of some of my own journey in a way. I just remember when I was homeless and living in a closet next to a furnace. And I was penniless, basically. I was working at Caribou. But even then, like in December of 2021, I left Caribou because I felt called to. I was still homeless. So now I was back to being homeless and jobless, living in this closet. And Reese was with me, during this time. And so, to her credit, she was obviously not with me for my money. And I just remember her being like, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this? And I just remember telling her, I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like it's something I'm meant to go through, and I don't know what it is yet. And I just felt confident in my path, where I'm like, this is what I'm meant to experience. And there was a couple times we had some disagreements, obviously, and that wasn't a fun experience, but I just felt like that's what I needed to experience. And it just, when I heard this man in Costa Rica, it was just like, yeah, like I feel like I've experienced similar things where, like, I know, and I've mentioned in previous videos where I was like, being without a bank account, being without a credit card, being disconnected from the financial services and the financial institutions that make up the Western world. I know what it is like now to be disconnected from that, and what opportunities are not available. So like I said in the other video, I was like, I understand Bitcoin better from that perspective about banking the unbanked. I never quite understood it before that experience, but then I'm like, oh, like this is like what that means. And I felt like it was a similar kind of thing with like these elders that go through and like they know what it's like to be extremely hungry and to be extremely thirsty, and to just really know like those types of suffering, and to understand that we all go through like there's gradients, right? It's all relative. Not one experience is better than another, and this is where I kind of went through my why is magnitude such a thing, like regardless if of the experience, somebody is experiencing the experience. So like regardless of like if you smash your hand like with a hammer or get shot in the leg, like both people are experiencing pain. You know, like I don't like the idea of magnitude defining like, oh, well, it's worse, quote unquote, to be shot in the leg than it is to have the hammer on the hand. And it's like, but it's like I said in another video, it's through the contrast that awareness comes. And so going in deep, so to speak, like days without water, you know, really puts you in touch with what it's like to be really freaking thirsty, you know, and to be homeless and penniless really put me in connection with what that's like, for anyone that's experiencing that, even if it's just a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, people don't have to be legitimately homeless and legitimately penniless. Again, it's relative. I can relate to that experience and then have the compassion and then also like the desire to reconcile that, to bring that into balance somehow, in whatever way that I'm meant to. And it kind of goes back to the video that I did last night around being with my counselor and the whole AI stuff that I'm working on, and analyzing my own language and having my own anger issues and understanding what my identity was and how these things impacted my life and those in my life. And to have compassion, not only for myself, but also just for anyone else going through other things, which actually, now that I'm talking about it, reminds me of a dream that I had not last night, the night before. So yesterday morning I woke up and I did a video. I just recorded it for my own posterity. I had a dream where my mom was in it. My oldest sister was in it. Let's see. That friend who's connected to my divorce was in it. Although my oldest sister and this friend were not like visually in the dream. The friend we spoke about, my mom and I spoke about. My mom, like I was with my mom physically in the dream. My sister was on the phone and I spoke to her. I'm pretty sure that I told her that I love her, and the energy was good. My youngest son was a part of the dream, and the way this ties in is that I said something to my mom, and I was just joking around. I don't even remember what I said. Oh, I said, okay, now I remember. So my mom was on a landline, okay? And the cord or the cable for the landline was like going down. I was by the kitchen sink in some house. I don't even know the house, but the cable for this landline was going down into the garbage disposal of the kitchen sink. And there was like peanut butter down in the garbage disposal. And I'm like pulling out this cable and it's got all this crap on it. And I'm like, this is awful, right? And obviously that's an opinion. Obviously that's a judgment, right? And my mom took a little bit of offense to that. She was like, it's not awful, you know? And I was like, I was just joking around, you know, just playing around. And this was towards the end of the dream, right? So I'm just starting to kind of wake up, but I'm still very much in the dream. And it came into my awareness where I was like, oh, wait, like I can have compassion for my mom's reaction, the way that she responded and the way that she interpreted my statement, my joke, my judgment, my opinion, because the tables have been turned. My mom has said something and I've had the same like response, you know? And so it was just, again, seeing myself in the other, which goes back to the creation triangle videos that I put where the data is neutral, right? And can I see myself in the data? So it was just this is kind of a strange video that I'm doing right now where there's just so many different things that are just kind of tying in the tapestry of life. But yeah, that was a really interesting, dream. But yeah, so I'm going to eat this rice before it gets cold. And I just wanted to put that out there, that these are the random things that are synchronistic that I wanted to put out there and capture to tie in and just bring together, and to provide context about what's going on and what's percolating up here in my brain. All right. Well, as always, thank you. And I'm absolutely grateful for this food. Thank you, my angels, my watchers, my guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the universe. Thank you. 1 cup of rice is a filling meal. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.